Hello friends, welcome to a new video in Vedic astrology. And in this video I'll be talking about how to know which planets are functional benefic for you and which planets are functional malefic for you. Or for your ascendant, which are the functional benefic planet and which are the functional malefic planet. Now, please understand, and I'm sure most of you must be aware that Jupiter, Venus, Moon, and Mercury are natural benefic planet, whereas Saturn, Mars, Sun, Rahu, and Ketu are natural malefic planets. But for a particular ascendant, some of these natural malefic can also be natural benefic because they are lords of auspicious houses in that for that particular ascendant. Hence, there is a possibility that for some ascendant, even some natural malefic planet can be natural functional benefic planet, and vice versa, where for some ascendant, the natural benefic planets can be functional malefic for you because they in your chart are rulers of difficult houses, right? So, how to know which, you know, are functional benefic planets for you and functional malefic planets for you? So for any ascendant, ascendant is the first house. So for any ascendant, the third house lord, the sixth house lord, and the 11th house lord are usually malefic and malefic of the highest degree. Whereas the second house lord, eighth house lord, and 12th house lord are also malefic planets. Now, if the planet is lord of trine, that is first house, fifth house, and or ninth house, then it's functional benefic for you. It's the most benefic planet in your chart. And usually for the angular houses 1, 4, 7, and 10, if benefic house rules those houses, particularly 4th, 7th, and 10th, because first house is a part of trine as well. So for 4th, 7th, and 10th, if a benefic rules that particular house, then it's usually loses its benefic qualities. Whereas if a malefic rule these houses, then there's a possibility that the planet is not really malefic for you. Now let's talk about different combination. Now there is a possibility that a planet can be lord of the third house and the second house, or the sixth house and the you know 11th house, or the eighth house and the 11th house. In that case, the planet becomes very malefic or extremely difficult planet for you because it is the ruler of two difficult houses. If planet rules one angular house and one trine house, when I say trine, I usually consider fifth and ninth here. So if a planet rules one of the angular houses like 4th, 7th, and ninth, and also one of the trine house, then it becomes a yoga karaka planet for you, which means it becomes the most benefic planet in your chart. If a planet rules either one of second, eighth, and 12th house, and one of the first, fifth, and ninth house, so one of the trine houses and one of second, eighth, or 12th houses, then it becomes a benefic planet because in this case, the trine houses overpowers the second, eighth, and 12th houses. Now, if a planet is lord of either third, sixth, or 11th house, and also the lord of one of the trines, then you need to see where is the Mula Trikona sign of that particular planet falling. For example, for a Aries ascendant, if for a Aries ascendant, the first house is ruled by Mars, which is Aries. Mars also rules the sixth house, which is a difficult house. First house is a part of trine. So first house and sixth house, it rules first house and the sixth house. But because the Mula Trikona sign of Mars is in the first house, Aries is the Mula Trikona sign of Mars, and that falls in the first house. Hence, it becomes functional benefic and not malefic. In other cases, Say, for example, for a Cancer ascendant, Jupiter rules the sixth house and the ninth house. Now, sixth house is Sagittarius, ninth house is Pisces. The Mula Trikona sign of Jupiter is sixth house, and the sixth house is considered to be a bad house. Hence, in this case, Jupiter for a Cancer ascendant becomes mild malefic in nature because the Mula Trikona sign falls in a difficult house. Now, in case of second, eighth, and 12th house, I told previously to you that uh, if a planet owns second, eighth, or 12th house, it becomes a functional malefic. There is an exception to this. If these houses are ruled by Sun or Moon, then Sun and Moon are exempted from becoming a functional malefic. Example, for a Cancer ascendant, Sun rules the rules the second house, and second house is considered to be a bad house, but because Sun is ruling it, so Sun doesn't become a functional malefic for Cancer ascendant. It becomes a neutral planet. Similarly, for a Sagittarius ascendant, Moon rules the eighth house, which is the Cancer sign. Eighth house is considered generally to be a bad house, but because Moon is ruling that, hence it is exempted from becoming a malefic, and it becomes a neutral planet for a Sagittarius ascendant. Now let's look into two ascendant and find out which are the functional benefic and the functional malefic for this planet. Let's look at Aries ascendant. I have already talked about the ascendant lord. Ascendant lord is Mars. Mars Mula Trikona sign falls in the first house. Hence, Mars, though rules both first and sixth house, it still becomes a functional benefic for the planet. Now let's come to the second house lord, which is Venus. Venus is ruling second house and Venus is ruling seventh house. Second house is a difficult place. If a benefic rules a angular house, that is 4th, 7th, or 10th, it loses its benefic nature. It's already ruling a bad house, and both 7th and second house are considered to be Maraka houses. Hence, Venus becomes a functional malefic for Aries ascendant. Now let's talk about Mercury, which rules the third house and sixth house. This is easy. If it rules third and sixth house, both are difficult houses, hence Mercury becomes a functional malefic for Aries ascendant. Now let's talk about Moon. Moon rules the fourth house. Now fourth house is an angular house. Moon is a benefic planet. A benefic planet ruling an angular house may not really be great. So Moon for a Aries ascendant will lose some of its beneficiary. Hence, Moon becomes a neutral or a mild benefic planet for an Aries ascendant. Sun rules the fifth house. This is given. Fifth house is an auspicious house, a trine house, and Sun being the lord of a trine house becomes an extremely auspicious planet for Aries ascendant. Hence, Sun is a functional benefic planet for Aries ascendant. Now, let's come to Jupiter. Jupiter rules the ninth house and the 12th house, but the Mula Trikona sign of Jupiter falls in the ninth house, and also trine overpowers the second, eighth, and 12th house. Hence, Jupiter becomes a functional benefic planet for Aries ascendant. Now, let's come to the final planet, that is Saturn. Saturn is ruling 10th house and 11th house. 11th house is a difficult house. Ruler of 11th house becomes malefic. Hence, even if Saturn is ruling one of the angular houses, that is the 10th house, it still becomes a malefic planet because it is ruling a inauspicious house or a difficult house, that is the 11th house. So this is how you need to see, analyze a chart and try to understand which are the functional benefic and functional malefic planet for you. Now let's talk about another ascendant. Let's talk about Pisces ascendant. I have taken Pisces ascendant because Pisces ascendant, there is an interesting concept of Kendradhipati dosha here as well. We'll come to that. Now let's talk about Pisces ascendant, and let's talk about first Mars, which rules the second house and the ninth house. Now Mars rules a difficult house and it also rules a trine. Trine overpowers the second, eighth, and 12th house combination. Hence, Mars becomes a functional benefic planet for Aries ascendant. Now let's come to Venus. Venus rules the second house, the third house, and the eighth house. It's given both are difficult houses, hence Venus becomes a functional malefic planet for Pisces Ascendant. Now let's talk about. I will come to Jupiter and Mercury. Now let's talk about Moon. Moon rules the fifth house. Fifth house is an auspicious house, is a trine house, hence Moon becomes a functional benefic for this chart. Sun rules the sixth house. Sixth house is a difficult house, hence suns become a functional malefic for Pisces Ascendant. Now let's talk about Saturn. Saturn rules 11th house and the 12th house, hence it becomes a functional malefic planet for Pisces Ascendant. Now we are left with Jupiter and Mercury. Now Mercury rules two angular houses, fourth house and the seventh house. Because it is ruling two angular houses, it loses its beneficial nature. And whenever a benefic planet rules two angular houses, it suffers from a dosha called as Kendradhipati dosha, which means that the planet will lose its benefic nature and will become a mild malefic or a neutral planet for that chart. So Mercury, because it is ruling two angular houses, it suffers from Kendradhipati dosha, hence it becomes a neutral planet and slightly tilt toward malefic nature. Hence it becomes slight malefic. Of course, Mercury can give good results if it is associated with good planet or well positioned. Now let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter also rules two angular houses, the first house and the 10th house. But Jupiter doesn't suffer from Kendradhipati dosha because first house is also part of trine, is a part of first house, fifth house, and ninth house, which is the trine house. First house is a part of that, hence Jupiter rules one trine and angular house and another angular house, which is the 10th house. Hence it becomes a functional benefic planet for Pisces Ascendant, a very strong benefic planet because it is the ascendant lord as well. Now that's about it, guys. This is how you need to see which are the functional benefic and malefic planet in your chart. In this particular chart, you can see for every ascendant which are the functional benefic and which are the functional malefic. If you put the rules which I've already given in the video, you can easily tell which are the planets which are functional benefic for you and which are the planets which are functional malefic for you. Please understand the nature of the planet may not be same as the strength of a planet. A planet can be benefic but can be weak. At the same time, a planet can be malefic and can be strong. If a benefic planet is well disposed, well positioned, and is aspected by good planets or is in good sign, it can give excellent result. But if a benefic planet is in a weak position, is afflicted, then it can give it may not give good result. It will kind of struggle to give good result because it doesn't have the power. The same applies for malefic planets as well. If a malefic planet is strong or is in a good sign, in a friendly sign, or in an exalted sign, then it can become really difficult planet for you because it's a bad planet and it's also getting the strength. Whereas a malefic planet, a functional malefic planet, if it is in a debilitated sign or in a weak position or is in a weak house, then it will struggle to give bad results. So it's always good if your malefic planet doesn't have a lot of strength. So guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching my video. If you have any queries, please do mention in the comment box and I will definitely try to answer them. Take care. Please subscribe to my channel. And please share my video if you like it. Take care. Bye bye.